Hey. All right. So for those of you who've not met me before, my name is Alexander Samba. The most coding we're going to do today is just to edit a little bit of HTML. All right. So I'll show you how to identify the most important parts, how to edit them, how to put them on GitHub, how to launch them. Okay, awesome. So I want to believe you all first got notes of this webinar from my blog. I've always had a blog, but I had to revive it. So some of my old posts from my other blog accounts, I'll try to bring them back down here, but as much as possible, I'm trying to get back into generating content and informing you guys consistently. Building a website is not difficult. In the past, you needed to have a good understanding of technical skills, how to code. We now have even more opportunities to develop websites without needing to build everything from scratch. And that is one of the things I want to show you. So sometimes being a technical person means you have to understand how to hack what is already available to you. So with what I'm going to show you, you'll be able to put up your first website, direct people to reach, make sure people can actually get good insight about who you are. And I think with that alone, it's sufficient enough for you to, claim to a good extent that you understand how to build a website. Yeah, nobody's going to judge you for it and say you do not with what I'm going to show you. All right. So let's get right onto it. First and foremost, the first tool I want to show you here today is your first free tool that I want you to take note of, and it is called W3 Layouts. Okay. So W3 Layouts is a website that actually helps you get website templates, HTML website templates, okay? So I'm going to add that in the chat so that you can pick that up just in case you cannot see clearly. All right, good. So as you can see here, we have free templates for websites. So people have put certain nice templates that you could actually just use, just by changing the image, changing the text. You are allowed to just use it to build whatever you want for yourself. And that is a good thing about it. So, and that is exactly what I'm here for today. I'm not trying to teach anybody how to code from scratch, use HTML and all that. It is really important, and we'll do a little bit of that. But we're going to be focusing on actually how to find something beautiful, get to use it, and get to repurpose it for whatever your aim is. All right. And I am going to be picking this template. Okay, this one. And with this one, we're going to be doing something really simple to introduce ourselves. All right. So instead of this image here, right here in the center, I'm going to use my own image. And so these links here, I'm going to make them point to somewhere else. Okay, where you have this person's name, I'm going to put my own name, and I'm going to change this text as well. If I want to, I'm also going to change this image on the background just to show you how to do that. Then we would host it live on GitHub. Then I'll show you how to also get a domain name and make sure it is your domain name that you actually using to point people to your website, and not just some random domain name that is really hard to remember. Okay, so how do we do this? I will pick on Unrivaled just by clicking on it. Then I will download templates. Okay. So because I do not want to pay for it, I'm going to be clicking on free download templates. So this also applies to any other site that can actually give you a template, okay? An HTML template. You can always download those, edit them to suit you, and upload them onto GitHub for free. All right. So I will share this on Facebook. Okay, so let me just download this and focus on that for now. All right, so as you can see, this is 2.1 megabytes. It's not that heavy. Yeah, so Let me unzip that. So there are certain things you should have actually. So to be able to edit the codes, okay, here we go. So this is the code here, but I'm going to move it from web. I'm going to copy that, copy web, and send it to where I usually put my GitHub files, just for, okay, let me create this one here. I just want to organize. So I know it's on the, I know exactly where I'm dropping this here. And what am I going to do next? So the tool I use for editing my code is called Visual Studio Code. Okay. So let me type that so that all of you can have that. So to make all those changes I talked about earlier on, I need something to help me be able to make the changes without much errors. So Visual Studio Code works very well for me. I would also provide you guys with the URL to download that, just in case you do not have that already. So it's code.visualstudio.com. Okay. So you download that version, you download whatever works for your computer. So since I use a Mac, I'm going to be downloading something, a Mac build. All right, so I have Visual Studio Code here. I'm going to open it. Then also the other software I'll be using today is called GitHub Desktop. All right, so I have GitHub Desktop and I also have Visual Studio Code. Good. So on Visual Studio Code, what I'll do is I would go and open the folder I just downloaded. So I have to locate that. I'll open. So we have web here. So I want to open the entire web folder. And this is what happens. All right, so we have index.html here. And this is the file that we're going to make changes to the most, all right? So how websites are built. So let me take this opportunity to let some of you who do not understand how website works. How websites are built is that there are certain standard instructions that a community of people and industry leaders have come to agree to. So for instance, if you have a folder and a website should be there, naturally, the first file that it seeks to open would be the index.html file. There are other cases where it could be like the index.php file. So, but most often you have the index.html file. So when you go to a website like, let's take for example, google.com, let's just assume that there is an index.html file that contains all the code that actually makes you see the Google website. All right, so that is what we're going to be making changes to, and I'll show you exactly how to get that done. So let's just open this here, and don't forget, I also opened GitHub, but then GitHub Desktop. But then you ask, how did I come about GitHub Desktop, and what is it used for? So GitHub Desktop is what we call the GUI, in other words, the graphic user interface for that helps us interact with GitHub. So some persons will also ask, what is GitHub? All right. So let me first start with GitHub. So GitHub is what we call a repository. What do I mean by that? It is somewhere you are allowed to actually store your files. In most cases, they are text-based files. And when I say text-based files, they are mostly files that have codes in them. So, you know, sometimes you want to really, really be organized, because being a web developer or being a web designer, you don't have just one website, or you don't have just one project. You have many, and over time you'll be making changes to it, and you want to be able to say, okay, at this point in time, this was what I had. At this point in time, this was a new thing that I actually put in place. This was the old thing I removed, and you want to keep track. You want to keep track of all those things for all your project and make sure you stay organized, and even get other people to work on your code. GitHub is one of those places you can do that. That is exactly what it helps you do. So it helps you keep revision of your code, and it helps you collaborate with other people as well. So most times the codes on GitHub are actually open to the public. Then just few times you find them as private. Like for instance, I have several repositories here. Repository, I just mean like major folders where I store my coding project. Then most of them, as you can see, are public. They are open. Then just one here is private with a padlock. All right, so I can actually put some codes on GitHub and make it private that only myself can see. But when I make it public, people can actually search and find my code. And aside that, if people like my code, they can actually copy it to their own GitHub account. That is called the process of copying the code into their own GitHub account. So it's a really, really nice place to collaborate and work with other people. That being said, so what I want to show you now is how to actually start a project and make sure your project, you can save it on GitHub, and where you don't even have your computer where you are coding on. If for instance, I leave my computer at home, I get to work and I want to use like the desktop at work, I could practically just turn on the desktop, get on GitHub, and make changes to my code if I wish to. All right. So first and foremost, make sure you have a GitHub account. It is github.com. I hope everybody could actually have one. So I'm pasting it here for you, so you can copy the link later on. So it's github.com. Create a GitHub account, and it's pretty easy. What you have to do next, you just, after creating, under repositories, you could actually come from this angle where you have a plus button, create a new repository, or you click on this green button here that says new. So don't forget, the repository is like a folder for your coding project. So I want to create one for the website we're trying to edit. All right. So I'll click the new here. Then I will name it webinar. Project 1. Webinar project edits HTML templates. All right. I could describe it if I want to. Teaching how to edit HTML templates and host a web page, a website on GitHub. So I'm going to make it public for some of you who want to actually search for this repo later on. Then I'll just create repository. It's that simple. So that is me creating a folder for this project we're about to do. Now, the next step I'll take is I'm going to set this repository on my desktop. What does that mean? It means copying this folder to my computer and making sure it connects. There's a connection between the folder and my computer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use GitHub Desktop to be able to commit whatever changes I make locally, that is on my computer, back into GitHub. All right. So first and foremost, GitHub Desktop, you can get GitHub Desktop by downloading it. So sometimes it's really scary when you see people working on GitHub and they decide to use command tools. So command tools are, okay, when you see, okay, let me show you what a command tool is. So I have a command line tool, and mine is called, it's called a terminal. Or if you use a Windows computer, it's going to be called, shouldn't be looking for my terminal. Has anybody seen my terminal? Okay. All right, good. So you could actually use a command line tool, a CMD on your Windows or terminal to actually push your code back onto GitHub. But I think for many people, it can look like something really difficult to do, and they think they just, because it's hard to read at first, they just get really discouraged. So I encourage you to go ahead and use GitHub Desktop. Okay, so what you just need to do is go onto desktop.github.com and download the GitHub desktop stack for your computer. So I'm going to drop that link as well on the chat area. Okay. So once you get that, you open it and you make sure you sign in with your GitHub account. If you know your GitHub account details, you sign in on your GitHub desktop. So back to the repo I just created, I'll click on setup. I'll click on setup in desktop. Then I'll open in GitHub desktop. All right. So as you can see here, this one carries https github.com/alexasomba, which is my username on GitHub, /webinar project edit HTML template.git, which is the name I gave the repo online. So now I want a mirror of that repo on my computer. I call it repo, but I hope you understand it still means repository. So, and that mirror will be found under my documents /github/alexasomba/webinar project edit HTML template. So, initially I already downloaded the folder for templates we're going to edit. So it's no problem. I could still copy the content down into this folder, this new folder that's going to be created. So all I just have to do now is click on clone. So it clones my GitHub. It clones this repo here on my GitHub, and it brings it down to my computer. Okay. So as you can see here, it says publish branch. So it means whatever I did on my computer, by just clicking this button here, I could just push it down back onto GitHub. It's that simple. So to start with, let's do our initial commit. So this is web here, and these are all the files that came from the template. I'm going to copy it. So just get your template files, then locate the folder for your repo that you just cloned to your computer. Then you paste the files, the HTML files, all right? Once you paste it, now let me show you something. So initially, this folder used to be empty. Let's go to GitHub Desktop. Can you see this? You see a green plus, 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 plus. What does this mean? It means these were not here before, but these files just got added. So because these are first files, official files, and I will be committing to the repository. So don't forget, we are still working on my computer. So I'm going to actually commit this as initial commit. This just means, first of all, what's a commit? A commit is you saving a change or a state, all right? So the folder used to be empty, and now I just added files. I want to know when it was fresh. When I want to know, okay, I already have the state of empty folders. Now I have a state of files that I've not touched. I want to log that in. It's just like me saying, at this point, I want to create a point on my repo, on my revision system that says, this was the point where you first started. And what do I want to call it? So you have to give it a name that makes you remember exactly what happened, all right? And in this case, it is initial commit, the first commit of the codes, all right? So I won't describe it, of unedited template files, right? Just so that when I want to look back and be like, what happened at this point, I can tell. And even when people are working with me, they can also tell, okay, what changed at this point? What were you changing? What were you doing? What were you thinking when you added these files? All right, so I'm going to commit to master. So committing it to master says, okay, save that state. Now, because I have a state saved, I can now publish it, publish this branch. The branch is called master by default. Your default branch is called master. And I can now publish it to GitHub. What this means is by pushing this button, all the files that used to be on my computer and the state they were will automatically get onto GitHub. That's what it means. So I'm going to push it on GitHub. So that's 64% done. Fantastic. So as you can see, we've pushed all the files back onto GitHub. So let me show you what this now looks like. Remember, initially, under code, there was no file. But let me click on code again. Can you see? I now have CSS, fonts, images, index.html, and W3 layout license.txt. Exactly what I have on my computer. So this is one way to push your code down to GitHub efficiently. All right. So now that we've pushed our code down to GitHub, how about us, for now, without us even changing anything, how about us making a website to begin with? So let me show you how to get that done. So click on settings, scroll down to where you have GitHub pages, then under source, choose the master branch, which is your default branch. Then you click on save. So let's go back to GitHub pages. By default, GitHub gives you a web address to view your website. So I'm going to right click and open a new tab to show you what that looks like. Can you see that? So this web address is https://webinar-project-edit-html template. This is exactly the theme, the template I downloaded. Can you confirm that? So it's as simple as this. So I can give people this link, for instance. If we had edited this, I can give people this link and they can come here, read whatever they want. I can create several pages and it's just going to be a nice website that is appealing and people can actually get things done. All right, you could put a form if you want to. You could actually even put maybe live chat if you want to, or just itemize a few products if you want to. And you see that the possibilities are endless. But let us move on to actually editing these, all right? Let's edit some of this. Very good. So we have home, we have about, we have projects, Then we have contacts. You can see there's a form here. So, and nobody can even tell that this is a free thing because as far as I'm concerned, it looks really, really awesome. Aside from the design by W3 layouts text we have here, which by license, we're not supposed to take it off. Definitely, nobody could actually tell it's actually a layout we got. All right. So let's also begin with changing these. All right. Hope you're good. Hope you're ready. So now I'll go back to Visual Studio Code. Since I'm not working from this folder anymore, I'm going to close that. Then I will click on open. GitHub, Alexa Samba. Yeah, this is the folder I'm working from. I'll click on open. All right, good. So index.html. Let me take out time to actually show you what we're going to be changing and what some of these things mean. So the good thing about working with a code editor is that it helps you with color coding the different parts of your code text. All right. Certain code texts are plain words. Certain code texts are instructions. Certain code texts are source files. Certain code texts are metals. So with the different colors, you can tell exactly which one of them are words and so on and so forth. So for instance, this one here is what we call the title meta tag on HTML. I'll explain exactly what it means for maybe on some other occasion. I would probably just tell you exactly how to build a complete HTML page. But for now, I just want to show you the essentials and the possibilities that are there. All right, so the title HTML tag, the title meta tag is actually what enables us to be able to specify the title of our web page. Now, can you see Unrivaled, Personal, Category, Bootstrap, Responsive, Templates, Home, W3 Layouts? If I come to this page, I am going to, and I touch my title here, can you see that it says the same thing? Unrivaled, Personal, Category, Bootstrap, Responsive, Templates. Exactly the same thing which I just read from that code. Now, when you go on Facebook, for instance, you're going to see Facebook on tab. Now, the only reason why you can see Facebook on the tab, on your tab, so that you can know that that tab represents your Facebook, the Facebook page you're browsing on, is because the title tag says Facebook. So now what do I want to do to change the title tag? I will just edit this title tag and make it something much more personal since we are editing this. So I'll just call it Alex's profile. So that's what I'll call it. Yeah. So let me show you what that does for us. So what I'm going to do now is, because I've made a change on the title, I'll save it. On saving it, if you use VS Code, you're going to see this GitHub icon here, which stands for source control. And you see that a change has been made on one of the files we have. In this case, the file is HTML, index.html. It's exactly what we're going to see when we also come on GitHub Desktop, which we work with. Can you see? So we have a minus here, which says we removed this, which is in red, and we have a plus here, which says, and we replaced it with this. So this is how GitHub just works. It helps you keep track of the changes you're making. So I'm going to commit this change and call it change title meta. Then I'll describe it. Not usually I don't describe everything, but for the sake of you to understand how to use committing your codes, I'm just going to describe it so that you follow standard as well when you're working on your files. So I changed the title from what it was to Alex's profile. Then I'll commit to master. So I've changed that state. That's what it means. Can you see here? As you can see here, you can see the number 1. It means one change has been made on my computer that is not on GitHub. So what I do here is I'm just going to, okay, let me show you. Let me go on GitHub. So here we are on GitHub. I'm going to click the repo. As you can see, the last commit I made was 10 minutes ago, and it was initial commit. So let me go back to GitHub Desktop and commit and actually push this to origin. And origin is GitHub. So I'm pushing that change. If I refresh this page now, you're going to see that every other thing was changed 10 minutes ago. But index.html, I changed the title method. Can you see that? It is written there. And when I hover over it, when my mouse goes over it, which is called a hover, you can see that there's even a description that says, on this file, 1 minute ago, I changed the title from what it was to Alex's profile. So if at any point I'm like, when did I change the title? Can I see what it was changed to? Let me show you. So this is what GitHub does. So GitHub would show you what it was and what it was changed to. Can you see why it's important? So you never really lose your code because you can always track back to wherever you were if you ever made a mistake. That's why a tool like GitHub, which is based on Git, is important. All right, so let us see what that does for us. So if I do Control R, then I come here at the title. Can you see the title has changed to Alex's profile? That is the first step. All right. So we still have a couple of things to change, like this text, Try to change this image as well. Then we'll change about, just to show you that it's possible. And we'll change as much as we can. All right. We have just a few minutes left, so I'll try to do as much as I can. All right. So I'll get back to Visual Studio Code. Now, what do I want to change? Because I understand the color coding for an HTML file, I can easily just scroll through. So for instance, the navigation we saw, where we saw home, this is the code that brings about the home. This is the code that brings about the about button we saw on navigation, projects, contact. Yeah, so these are the words that actually make those things show up the way they do, right? Then we have, I am hi. Can you see over here? Over here we have hi, I am Lee Rayan. I'm going to change that text from hi, I'm Lee Rayan to hi, I am Alex Samba. It says let me change two things. It says my introduction, then it has this lorem ipsum there, right? So this lorem ipsum here, I'm going to change it to my actual introduction. I think I have my page here. Yeah, I said, okay, this one is a short one. Let me just pick that, go back to my code editor. I'll do a Control V. So I've pasted that. Then what I do, then I'll go copy. So over here, can you see what I do? So let me make reference to the page again. So I have changed I am Lee. I've changed Lee Rayan to my name. Then I have changed my introduction to my actual introduction. Then under About Me, we have what I do. Then all this lorem ipsum. Lorem ipsum are actually texts that helps you as fillers for when you're developing and you don't have the creative content yet, but you just want fillers to occupy the space to help you get a really nice feel of what it will look when you put your actual text. So this lorem ipsum here, I want to edit it next. Take this back close to this. Okay. Okay, I'm thinking I should just make this my intro. Okay, no, I'll put it here. Mine is not long. It's not very long, but then it should do for the purpose we want. All right, good. So we have this. I have edited that. Then if I scroll again, yeah, I can see get in touch, and I don't really need to change much. There's a form here. Then, yeah, 2019 Unrivaled. Instead of Unrivaled, I'll put Alex Samba. Yeah, all right, reserved. So according to the license for this free template, I'm not supposed to touch this. So I'll comply with that. So I've made a couple of changes. So I made more changes than on the same file, don't forget that. So I'm going to save that, Control S. And the moment I save that, my Git will tell me that there's a change that you've saved that has not been committed. Because I use VS Code, I can commit it here, but for consistency, let me just go back to GitHub desktop. So it's here as well. Don't forget, it shows you a revision of your code. Look at this, there's a minus here, which means you remove something from line 67 and you add something on line 67. I am Lee Rayan, has changed to I am Alex Somba. Then we have all this lorem ipsum, which is in red. They are all gone now. And it's replaced by what we have in green here. So you can see the different state and changes in your code. And that's the beautiful thing about using Git while you're coding. So you can see here where we have a lot of lorem ipsum here for about us. And I shortened it to a really small about us with concrete words, actually, not just lorem ipsum. And I changed unrivaled, unrivaled, which is at the footer. I changed it to Alex Osamba, right? I'm just going to say changed. So I'm committing this code. Change text from unrivaled. Well, better say change text to mine. I'm just going to quick commit this one just to catch up with time. Then, as you can see here, now it says, yeah, I've committed my code, which means I've looked through the changes I've made and I have kept that state on my Git. So now it's telling me that there's now a difference between what is on my computer and what is on Git. So do I want to push to my origin, which is GitHub? I'll say yes by clicking on this button here. So it's going to be really fast because it's a single file, and voila, fetching origin, it's done. So I will go back to GitHub just to show you that the change has happened really fast. So I'll click on code or I click on the folder, anyone. Then you can see that the commit here says change text to mine. I did that change a minute ago. So the good thing is that whenever I change it and commit it, I just have to go to the website, refresh it, and automatically the changes has been applied. See, this now says Alex Asamba, and the bottom here says Alex Asamba instead of unrivaled. About actually carries something about myself. I'm a Nigerian digital consultant and digital skills coach with broad technical skill set. Then projects, I could change this later on. Then contacts, there's nothing much to change here. So yeah, I would love to change this links, social media links, so that it goes to my own social media page. So let me do that really quickly. Then we have to change image as well. At least I want to change at least one image. So we'll do that really quickly. Okay, here's my VS Code. Yeah. So click on this. Okay, good. I found the picture. So the picture is admin.jpg. So what I'm going to do is I'll come to my file area. I'll go to images. Now the thing is, for images, the best for coding standards is that you have to keep similar files in same location. So in this case, I have images here. The images as a folder. Let me show you here. So this is an images folder. Everything that has to do about images has to go into this folder. All your images. Then everything that has to do about fonts has to go into this font folder. Same with CSS. And if we have JavaScript, we have to create a JS folder. And if we want to link to it, we have to link from those folder. So in that case, it says images on that inside. Okay, so for this picture, you can see here. For this picture, you can see here, according to the code. Okay, good. And can you see that hi, I'm Alex Asamba. My introduction, I apply tech to solving problems. And just above it, we have image source equals to image/admin.jpg, which shows us this picture, like I said. So what I'm going to do is pretty simple. I am going to look for one of my photos and I will rename it as admin.jpg. Yeah, I'll rename it as admin.jpg and just use it to replace this one here. So where do I find my photo now? Okay, so I have a couple. This one is really, really large. So let's see what I can do with that. So on that images, I think the one I just selected should be for, I don't have a lot of pictures. The one I just selected should be for, it could suit banner more than images. So let me see what I can do with it anyways. So I have Alex underscore. Here we go. So as you can see, there's an Alex underscore, alex-3.jpg image here. I am just going to, let me just show you what that looks like when I do that. When I alex-jpg, I'll do a Ctrl S. Okay, doing Ctrl S, it now shows that VS Store, there was a change. Index.html, there's a change. Then, as you can see here, alex-3.jpg is a new image I just added. So it is pretty new. And in that case, I need to also commit it. So I'll just go to GitHub. And usually when you get on GitHub, you see exactly the same thing. So the yellow means changes, the green means purely new files. All right. Although I don't need DS store, so I can untick it so that I don't commit it. Because it's just a file. It's just a file generated because I added images. So let me just untick it. Or for now, let's not bother about those things. So I'll just commit added image, added profile image. I'll commit that, push. On pushing to GitHub, if you have questions, note them down. All right. On pushing to GitHub, I come here and I just do a refresh just to show you that. No, I think that refresh was, okay, we're still pushing, we're still pushing. All right, good, let me go back and refresh. Awesome. So under 35 seconds ago, I added profile image. So I changed something under the images folder. As you can see, everything here has 24 minutes ago, whereas the image here, alex-3.jpg, was placed in this folder just 44 seconds ago. Now let's see if my code worked. Control R, and oh goodness. So the reason we have this is because the image I put there in particular was not based on the proportion of the older image. So it is really important that you take account of those things. It's also really important. It's also really important. So over here we have 72 by 72. So I have Figma here. So I'm going to do really quick edits just so I'm not being lazy. Or can I be lazy and just move on to other things? Let me know so that I don't force myself to work. All right, so but then let me see how fast I can make this change. So I just need to change that image from what it is to the 72 by 72 image. Taking time. Okay, so, okay, good, we are here. Need something new. So let me walk with. No, there's no. I'm just going to draw a rectangle and work the sizes by myself. We had 72 by 72 if I remember correctly. Now I'll drop this here and fix it here. 72. And I am going to look for that image. Images. Oh, we're almost there. So yeah, so let me confirm the dimension again I'm supposed to do. So maybe some other time I will put you guys through working with Figma. It actually helps you come up with really nice images quickly. As you can see, this works. So I'll just make this bigger. so that it captures my face. Just trying to make sure since none of you chatted me up to be like, no, don't do that. I don't know why. All right, good. So we have an image that is 72 by 72. I'm going to export this frame. Okay. So we have export here. Export frame. I honestly don't care. I don't care where it's going to. Frame.jpg. Okay, let me just name it alex.jpg. Save it. We're running out of time. So good. So because we have alex.jpg now, so what happened is under that folder, so you don't guess what is happening. So what I just created, I saved it under alex.jpg. So that means the new file is not alex-3, but alex.jpg. Oh, I have a low battery. So I'm going to save this and I'll commit it. Remind me, I'll just go back and work on it. Yeah. Okay, good. And on GitHub, I am going to add data image. Okay, fixed image proportion. That's what I'll call it. Fixed image. Fixed profile image proportion. It has to be descriptive. That's what we call it. I'll commit this to master. Push. And this ugly thing is going to look, okay, like I always do. I first of all try to confirm, show you that what we push to GitHub has arrived. So as you can see from this timestamp, the latest update was 20 seconds ago, and it was exactly what I committed: fix the file image proportion. That is to say, that change has taken effect on GitHub. So the next thing I do is as usually I refresh, and voila, voila. That was good. All right, so we can do the same thing for the big image as well. Then let me confirm. Okay, this is a text. This unrival is a text. Fantastic. Let me go look for it. How did I miss it? Oh, good. This is it here. So I've changed that unrival to Alexander Samba. Yeah. Then we have the background image, but I wouldn't bother about that now. For now, but since you all have an idea what it is and how to get it done. So as you can see here, we have this image here. This image stands for this is the image that was used to make the gallery images. So if I push my control button, it is clickable, and I tap it, and you see the gallery image you saw. So VS Code makes it really easy for you to understand what this code is about. So all the underlying stuff are actually things you can click on. They're actually links to probably files or other resources. So let me commit this last change to the header, just to the changed header. Let me call it logo net. So I've committed that. I'll push the GitHub, wait for it to push to origin. And once that is done, I refresh. I don't have to go back to GitHub to show you that it worked. Oh, what happened? What happened? Like really, something is changing. When was the last commit? 7 seconds ago. Okay, let me refresh again. Aha! You know, for a while there, I thought I didn't get this done properly. All right, good. So Alexander, as you can see, primarily almost everything here refers to me. So this is it. This is just a step. The last step I was supposed to show you guys, but because of time, I'm not going to be able to show you now. Is how to actually change this URL here to your own URL. So let me know if you want to learn that, and probably going to maybe organize another webinar and get that done. But that said, um, we're good. Let me um, this officially brings us to the end of our class today. Oh, Joshua was even warning me my battery was low. Thank you. That was kind of you. Okay, good. So Joseph wants to learn how to change the URL. Joseph is really easy. So let me do that right now, okay? It's really important because this resources is there for you to use, and it's just wasting as far as I'm concerned, and I'm a big hater of waste. Okay, so just for you to change it to your own URL, it's super easy. So just click on settings again. Don't forget settings again. Then you go down to custom domain. If you've bought the domain already, just put it down. Just put it here. So for me, let's say I want to use test.alex.samba. I'm sorry, I really cannot change my domain name today. Let me see. But then it's as simple as this. Let's say I want to use alexsamba.com. Save. So what happens is the moment you save it, it adds a new file called cname to your repository. Can you see that? And what is inside there? It's just instructing GitHub that there's a cname that you now have a custom domain that you want to map. So just watch. If you had a file on GitHub, it's real. Your local repository, because it's a mirror of what is on GitHub, it will tell you that there's something new on GitHub that does not exist on your computer. So let me refresh this. Can you see that? So initially we'll be doing push, but now because we have a new file on GitHub, you can now see pull here. So just to make sure everything matches, I'm going to click on it. So it's going to pull the file into, can you see? There's now a CNAME here on my local machine. So it's really important that you stay in sync and you use this process to make sure your files not just exist locally, but they're also online. So let me show you the next step. Once you've decided on the name you want, the rest is as simple as reading this documentation. Although sometimes, I know that sometimes documentation can come in as hard for some people to understand. But I want to, and let me paste it here for those of you who want to try your hands. Please let me know if you will get it right or get it done. I am going to be I'm going to be super glad and happy for that. Okay. So these instructions are just as simple as this. So for me, because I'm using an Apex domain, I'm going to click setting up an Apex domain. What do I mean? Alexa Samba without the www, for instance. So if you're using a CNAME, you click on this instruction. Or if you're using a domain name without, maybe like test.alexasamba.com or www, just make sure you click setting up an Apex domain. So what do you have to do? Go to your DNS settings and make sure you create A records that are pointing to all these 4 domains. Once you do that, voila, I mean it. Once you can get that done, this website you see here, that you see all this long stuff here, will just be purely purely your domain name, and nobody can tell that you hosted it on GitHub. So you could even start your web development business, web design business. You don't buy single hosts, you just find a way to buy a domain. So so if you want to buy a domain, you can buy from firebird.cloud.com. It's a project I work on personally. There are several domains you can buy from here. Then also, okay, let me share that after the class, okay? Okay. So if you want to buy .com.ng, whatever you want, you could always make sure you could always find a way to get those done. Find a way to make sure. What, no hosting? Yeah, it's no hosting, man. There is no single hosting. So this works very much if all your files are just simply HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So I've done this several times. Like there's certain times I know that certain web projects do not need, they are not going to be dynamic. The client is not asking for anything dynamic. They just want something simple, something informative. I go ahead and implement that. You can implement a live chat, you can implement Google Analytics, you can implement whatever you want to implement. All right. Then even if you want forms, there are different ways you can implement that. MailChimp, you can implement that as well. And you could even do serverless where your server exists somewhere else. But can you monetize the site like allow Google? Yeah, sure. Google AdSense work with, you know what an iframe is? Let's say in a sense like an iframe. So you just put the code anywhere you want, and based on who is coming to your site, the person will get to see the ad that is relevant to them. So definitely you can actually monetize your site if you want to. But then the challenge might be that most monetized sites have dynamic content that changes over time, which brings people often. So the challenge might be you finding a way to make sure the site is updated. But I don't know, you might have some idea of what to do, but this is really simple. You can do whatever you want with it. You can develop an e-commerce site that where you have a link to where people click on and they can now find maybe like your payment link or whatever. But then it's a very good way to actually stand out, build a fantastic brand, have a web presence for whatever you're building. You don't have to be a big business to actually have these facilities. Yeah. So yeah. So before we go, I just want to announce to you that I'm actually really focusing on helping small businesses do some of these big things, like for instance what I've just taught you now. And I want a lot of people who know how to do this, that can make me know that they know how to do it, so I can actually direct other businesses that cannot do this for themselves. So you might decide to charge them. I don't mind. It's left to you to decide what you want to do. But I really want to know enough people that could just help people, set up sites on the go, help them achieve their dream. Sometimes investors are just trying to look for. They just want to know if you have a website that could maybe even have a video embedded on it that just says what exactly your plans are. It could be as simple as that. So I just hope I can find more people that can do this. It just doesn't have to be just me trying to help a lot of people, because it can be really really difficult. And when one person is asking, it's they might think they're the only one, but it can be really really difficult. So I hope after now you can just indicate interest that yeah, I could send some of these small gigs to you, or whatever way you want to see it. I have some other tips for you guys as well. If you don't just intend to use this for your personal use and you want to build a business out of it, I have some other tips for you as well. And hopefully subsequently, I'm going to show you that. I probably will send out an email, you know, just so that if you can start your own web design projects. And for those of you who want to add a little bit of digital marketing and understand who comes to the website using Facebook Pixel, Google Analytics, and adding live chat like this, and all the dynamic things that actually makes businesses smarter, that makes you stand out as a designer or developer. Definitely, I will make you know all that. All right. All right. So thank you, everyone. I should mute. I should unmute everybody. So we get to. So yeah, I close here. All right. So George, Abiola, thanks for being around. Okay. Thanks. You're welcome, George. My pleasure. I'm glad I could do this.